Bedard versus Braden. I know that might be a disservice to everybody else on the ice, but that's what I'm going to be hyping up tonight.
How about that?
Pretty exciting. Both those players get lots of ice time. Dave Struch is not shy about playing the kid. Played him in every position on the power play. Warrior kid's good too. Yager looked good. Won the game for them in a shootout the other night. And those guys aren't all the focus. There are a lot of good players on both sides, so it should be a fun game tonight.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Well, it certainly was, and we cruise into a brand new day, hump day, as they say. RP here and Moose DuPont there. How you doing, Moose?
I'm doing well.
You having a good day?
I'm having a great day. You?
How do you like this switch back to 10 a.m. Sask time? Feels good to me.
Yeah, I like it after the show. In the morning, I like the mornings having more time, usually, but I also like being done a little earlier.
Yeah, just rolling into the show. I like it.
Yeah.
And morning time to our folks out there. Boy, we got some interesting mail, by the way. I didn't tell you. Email, of course, from some viewers out in British Columbia that if we have time today, I want to read it. Some cool guys, some NHL guys that are just enjoying the daytime sports talk out there.
Yeah, that'd be great.
There's nothing else going on. And hey, breaking news today. I actually don't have it in my quick six show topics, but I should. The Buffalo Sabres, on the heels of last night's loss to the New Jersey Devils, have fired their head coach, Ralph Kruger, this morning. I don't know how many they've lost in a row. 12? 11? Okay, it's coming up in my NHL leftovers, what the Sabres are doing, but they have not yet named a coach. Their general manager, Kevin Adams, is meeting with the media, I think, now, or he already has. I'm interested to see whom he names. And actually, I'll pick up on the rest of that in the quick six show topics here. But again, the Buffalo Sabres firing their coach this morning. Our guests today on the program come from the Saskatchewan Rattlers of the CEBL. If you've noticed, the Canadian Elite Basketball League is getting a lot of pub and hype. Their season is actually just around the corner. And Barry Rollick and Chad Jacobson of the Rattlers are going to be joining us. And Caleb Dahlgren, which is a national name. He is a survivor of the Humboldt Broncos crash on April the 6th, 2018. And Caleb Dahlgren has a book out, and he'll be coming up in the hour 2 to join us. So I'm looking forward to chatting with Caleb and seeing him again. Okay, quick six show topics, please. Director Jordan, thank you. And I'll get to all the viewer comments in a moment. But there's a lot to get to here. NHL leftovers from last night. Darren and I were calling a game, so I didn't watch any NHL hockey, but I saw the highlights, of course, this morning. And here's one. How did Buffalo win 6 games? Like, they've lost 11 in a row. Where did they win their 6 games?
I know.
Because they're so bad.
12 in a row.
You looked it up?
I was wrong.
Does it matter?
No.
At this point?
But I thought this was a good hockey team. Like, the roster's good. I think it's a culture problem. I really do.
Yeah, most times it is.
And the coach might be able to change that.
They're 0-0. That's what the new coach will say.
Yeah.
Right? Forget about the last 11. And so Bruce Boudreau on this show yesterday said that he has not talked with the Sabres. Has that changed in 24 hours? That's the question. Would the Sabres fire their coach and then go and hire somebody? Or search for somebody? I could see it. Because they just don't seem to know what they're doing.
Put an interim guy in for a bit.
Well, I'm just saying, usually you got your next guy lined up, and when you gas the last guy, you announce the next guy, and they're not doing that. So nothing am I putting anything past the Buffalo Sabres. My third leftover is my new favorite commercial. Less talky, more skatey. Isn't that for Harvey's?
Yeah.
With a guy standing on the ice eating the hamburger and he's yelling at the players.
That's right.
Keep more drilling.
That's right.
I love that commercial, and I see it 1,800 times a day, and I never get tired of it. I think it's Harvey's. Wings won. Wings won. Just pointing that out. Detroit won. They're now the third worst team in the NHL. Worse than them, the Seattle Kraken and Buffalo Sabres. And lastly, the New York Islanders' winning streak snapped at 9 games. And then there was the hit on Jared Tenorti last night, which I thought was clean. So that's my 6th leftover. Did you see it?
Yeah,
the Pittsburgh game?
Yeah, I did.
Totally clean.
Maybe a 2-minute penalty, but no, it didn't look like a 5 in a game. And it definitely won't be suspendable because they took care of it on the ice. But no, I didn't think it was that bad.
Okay, thank you, Pinks. He's telling us that the Sabres, meeting with the media here this morning, have hired as head coach Matt Ellis and assistant coach Dan Girardi. So there's your next head coach of the Buffalo Sabres, Matt Ellis. And Bruce Boudreau was clearly telling us the truth yesterday that he has not spoken with the Buffalo Sabres. From some of our Okay, hey, you know what? Thank you. Roxanne Theris writes in from Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions. And Roxanne, I say this with the utmost respect. She says, Dupes, you need to pinch Rod. I don't see him wearing any green. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. Just checking in from sunny Saskatoon today.
She's been in here.
Yeah, well, not only can we not wear green because this is a green screen behind us and you wouldn't see us. I'm going to say this with the utmost of respect, but also openness and honesty. I'm an alcoholic in recovery. I do not celebrate St. Patrick's Day at all. So have fun, everybody. And by the way, my life's never been better. It's never been better. But St. Patrick's Day to me is just another day of the year. It used to be Super Bowl, Grey Cup, Christmas, all rolled into one. But I don't even acknowledge it anymore. So hence, no green. Even if we didn't have a green screen, I wouldn't be wearing green. That's my problem, not your problem, but that's why we're not wearing green. Moving on. Point 2, the United Football Players Association. Let's just clarify that just before yesterday's show, they announced the statement that they are hearing that the CFL is going to cancel the next 2 seasons. I denounced it without even having to check with the CFL, but they denounced it and said this league has nothing to do with us. I was on that XFL podcast last night, the XFL Mark podcast, and we talked about all of this, and the hosts are great. Look it up at XFL Mark. They're dropping it tomorrow. But they said the union, the ultimate union, what the hell is it? The United Football Players Association, they have the right idea. And I would agree with them. They're not bad guys. And they came back at me yesterday and said, oh, you wait. When they cancel the season, you wait. We told you. Listen, I don't want to fight with the football guys. I'm on the football guys' side. I'm on the players' side. I've made that very clear. But if they cancel the season, it's not going to be because of anything you guys said. Right? It's going to be a statement from the commissioner, Randy Ambrosi. Yes, you're hearing it. I'm hearing it. And I know you fully believe there won't be a season because that's what you're hearing. But you can't put in a statement or a news release that you're hearing rumors, so we're going to make a statement. That's all. But would you agree that they have the right intentions? They weren't trying to stir up anything with the
I don't
fake
think
news.
so. I think they believe it. They've heard this, and they want to educate the players. And they're also trying to... I understand why I see why you put that on social media. You put that on social media because you're a small union, and you want to have more players part of your union, and you want to show the players that you're looking out for their best interests, right?
Yeah.
And how else do you communicate to the mass public to say, look, we can be an asset for you. We're looking out for you. We're telling you what you need to know. So it didn't come off the right way, but I understand the intention.
By the way, so the information was incorrect. I probably misread it. I'm not going to blame anybody, but it's on me. Who's the head coach of the Sabres?
Don Granato.
Okay, Don Granato's the head coach. I think I had it
was just worded. It was just typed out a little bit weird.
Okay, head coach Don Granato, assistant coach Matt Ellis, assistant coach Dan Girardi. Okay, that's who's in charge now with the Buffalo Sabres. We got to move on. Big hockey game last night, and I loved the game. Not necessarily the outcome. We called it on Access Now Television, the Trans-Canada Clash, major junior hockey. It is big boy hockey. And the Regina Pats blew a 4-1 lead and lost in overtime to the Moose Jaw Warriors. Connor Bedard, 2 assists for the Pats, their holy child. The wonder boy for the Warriors, Braden Yager, a goal and 2 helpers, right?
That's right.
And it was just a whale of a hockey game. And we'll be back on the air tonight, 8 p.m. Mountain, Regina Pats, Swift Current Broncos. But in our new feature, what are you calling it? The Great Western Ultra Update?
The Ultra Update.
I'm going to talk a little bit more about that game later on. It's also in my Cat Country 98 FM commentary, as we are everywhere. Point 4. This is interesting. Gord Miller has taken up a Twitter feud, and now it's turned into an all-out brawl with Barstool. And I'm trying to follow the story. I'm not a big Barstool guy. I'm a Spit and Chicklets guy, obviously. Biz Nasty's a friend of mine. I'm going to need you to help me out on this because I haven't really followed the Barstool thing. I guess I'm too old. But Gord Miller said, I'm never going to go on any show affiliated with Barstool Sports because they are misogynistic, sexist, all these things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I've listened to Spit and Chicklets, and while it's raunchy, it's not anything I don't think out of line. It's just putting a tape recorder in a hockey dressing room. That's what it is. But you're saying it's more than that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Dave Portnoy thing. He's the leader of Barstool.
He's the founder.
He's the founder, right? He's the leader there. And just some of the past behavior, I think that's where Gord has a problem with, right? Like, he talked about racism and misogynistic behavior and some different comments. And, he was the shock jock, right?
Okay.
The shock jock and said different things, got some attention, but not everybody likes Barstool. And that's, there's reason because he hasn't said the right things. He's made some bad comments. And so Gord's not wrong, right? Gord's not wrong, and he doesn't want to support it. Now, Portnoy's trying to build his brand back up, and he's built a phenomenal brand, and now he's trying to do good. He's done great things, like there was a small business fund that they created in the pandemic where they raised, I think it was over $100 million, distributing to small businesses. So there's a lot of good that Barstool's done. They've got females in high, positions of power, and I think the CEO is a female. So they're doing a lot of different things like that and growing, but his past isn't super clean, right?
Yeah.
So he's trying to repair that, and it's not all the way repaired.
Right.
Yet.
So in our poll question today for Capital Ford, Capital Auto Mall, Universal Collision Center, who do you support in this latest Twitter feud? Gord Miller, Barstool, or the middle? And people have strong feelings on this. Our friend Gord Randall, you know him, BC football guy, writes in and he says, one of these sides made a comment about being uncomfortable with some of the things Barstool reports. The other side still has its followers threatening a 16-year-old girl over it. This shouldn't even be a question. Sure, Gord, thanks for your opinion. That's fine. It's a poll, okay? Ryan Flaherty, Global Saskatoon, good friend of ours, voice of the Saskatchewan Rush. He says, disappointing number of Barstool votes here, but sadly, not surprising. So the results so far are Gord Miller, 54% of support, 30% supporting Barstool, and 16% supporting the middle, neither. I'll go with Gordy. I've known him a long time. I like him a lot. I've worked the CFL with him for decades. I've worked the World Juniors with him. I did radio, he did TV. I like Gord Miller a lot. On the flip side, Ryan Whitney, one of the co-hosts of Spit and Chicklets, came out this morning and said, sorry, I don't remember inviting you on to Spit and Chicklets. So I wonder where this all even came from. And there are people going against Gord Miller saying, why are you grandstanding on this? You weren't invited on. And I guess if I got to vote, I'm voting for Gord. He goes, if you're calling me cancel culture, because the definition of cancel culture is holding somebody responsible for their actions, then so be it. That's me. On the other side, where's Barstool Sports now? So they've changed, they've cleaned things up. You can't pay for your past forever. You can't. So I'm voting for Gord because I support Gord. But if Barstool Sports, like I have zero knowledge or history of this stuff. You tell me that it happened, fine. But that's why you need to make an informed decision when you are voting or when you're supporting. Let's remember it is a democracy and it is a free country, guys. So you're upset that somebody's voting for somebody else. That's their right. Did we forget about that? Anything else?
That's pretty good. I mean, I'm on Gord's side too, but I also understand the other side. And eventually, how long do you pay for the sins of your past, right? Second chances and stuff. And I don't know enough about David Portnoy and about the leadership at Barstool to make a real, educated statement on it. But, have you shown evidence of change? Have you shown evidence of growth? I can be on your side if that's the case. If you haven't, then I got a problem.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Don McNeil in Central Ontario watching. He says, Miller was asked a question. He answered it. Ryan Whitney is deflecting. So somebody basically said, Gord Miller, would you ever go on Spit and Chicklets? And away we go. I don't think Gordy even would have expected this backlash. I don't. Gord Randall, the West Coast Gordy, writes in again. Someone suggested he should go on Spit and Chicklets, and he just said that while he loves the guys that host that podcast, he's not comfortable being associated with Barstool. Given that he probably gets that question a lot, it seems pretty reasonable to me. Totally get where Gord Miller is coming from. Totally get where Ryan Whitney's coming from, too, with we didn't ask you to come on, so thanks, but no thanks. It reminds me of Rob Maver supporting the Stamps, the former Calgary punter, and Bo Levi. And Rob Maver's like, I wouldn't go on that Rod Pedersen show either. And I said to Rob Maver, don't worry, you don't ever have to worry about that. Moving on. Are we ready to move on?
I'm good.
Well, just one more thing. Gord Miller said the definition of cancel culture is holding people responsible for their past actions. Here's my question, not to Gord, but to that definition. Who makes anybody the judge, jury, and executioner for their past history? Who gets to decide? Just because you don't like their actions, you're going to cancel them? I'm not talking about Gord. I'm just talking about if that's the definition of cancel culture, who makes who the judge and jury?
Yeah.
Point 5, we got to speed it up. But they're quick. NFL free agent notes. Listen, I don't like the offseason of hockey. I don't like the offseason of football when it comes to free agency stuff. I don't like that Andy Dalton signed with Chicago Bears. They don't even like it in Chicago, by the way.
I know. I know.
Tyrod Taylor, T-Mobile, going to sign with the Dolphins. Where did Fitzmagic go?
He went to Washington.
Went to Washington, and it's the carousel. I mean, what if I'd bought an Andy Dalton jersey? My God.
I know.
I don't like this.
I know. And then, Chicago signs Andy Dalton. And then we hear just 20 minutes ago that they made a massive offer for Russell Wilson. 3 first-round picks and 2 starters, the offer to Seattle, who've said they're not shopping him, but everybody's got a price. So it's fun to follow a little bit, but it's a lot of chaos and movement.
Hey, shout out from Brooklyn, Dawn Marie Gallagher, good friend of mine down there. She's what should I say? Just a wonderful person. She's into business. She's into all kinds of things. I met her when I was down there getting some training a couple years ago in Manhattan. She's a Brooklyn gal. Shout out, Dawn Marie. Love you, and thanks for watching, by the way. I appreciate it. Talking this Canadian sports. She's like, what the hell are these guys talking about out there?
As long as you're entertained.
Yes, that's it. As I said to my wife one time, why did you want to marry me? She said, because you're entertaining. I said, I'll take it.
I'll take it.
There's worse things. Point 6, Toronto Blue Jays extend the skipper's contract or pick up the option on 2022. Vladdy had 4 hits, including a triple yesterday. They routed the Philadelphia Phillies. Opening day is getting closer, man, and the Blue Jays are it. No argument here with Charlie Montoyo.
No argument.
Being the skipper. And I saw Ross Atkins explaining it on SportsCenter, the general manager, and I'm like, I didn't used to not like you. But that's only because he hadn't proven himself to Canada and to Blue Jays fans. Can we say that they've proven themselves?
They're on the track.
They're on the right track, so let's go Blue Jays. Let's play ball.
Yep.
All right, we'll be right back. Rattlers GM Barry Rollick, Coach Chad Jacobson going to talk some CEBL ball when we return. This is the RP Show on Game Plus Television Network across all 10 provinces and 31 states, including New York City. Live daily on YouTube and Facebook, and 24-hour sports talk for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpeterson.com. Listen live.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpeterson.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.